Hello, guys. It's been a long time since I've been in in the recording mood. There's just been a lot of shit going on lately, and just haven't been feeling it. But these last couple of weeks have really inspired me to start trying to make videos again, and I finally found the first topic that I want to cover because, oh my god, we have an absolute stinker coming out of HBO, and then an absolute banger show coming out of HBO. Uh, so let's just dive right into the stinkers and jump right in. We have, and for those of you who don't know, I am a huge die-hard Scooby-Doo fan, and we have an actual embarrassment to the Scooby-Doo franchise. I was actually hoping that this show would be so bad that it's good. I wasn't expecting it to be the most banger show in the universe, or it's gonna be great, anything like that. I was literally just expecting it to be serviceable, and it is actually some of the worst things I've ever, like, 40 minutes I've ever sat through in my life. It is just bad. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, clearly, I'm talking about Velma, the HBO cartoon that's adult humor and none of the jokes hit. The only time I have laughed is because I've been uncomfortable and I didn't know what a reaction I was supposed to have. It's so bad. They have an entire subplot about, Velma and Daphne hating each other, and then out of nowhere they decide that they want to date now, which, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not one who cares too much about someone buying an IP and then them taking the IP and doing something different with it. If it's good, it's good. That's how I look at it. But I mean, I would agree with everyone else that it needs to be at least, somewhat related to the original IP and not just something completely different. And if it was something completely different, then they can just, get an entirely new show at that point, because why not? But I am not one who really cares about everything else. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. That's fine. But this is an actual embarrassment. They have an entire subplot on how Fred can't be a murderer of, I think, 3 people now in the show because he has a tiny penis and has never hit puberty. They have a character who's supposed to be Shaggy. In this case, he's called Norval, which is Shaggy's actual name in Scooby-Doo. But they have Norval, who is different, and then Norval's dad is actually Shaggy. And it's like, why? Why not just have Shaggy as Shaggy, and why make a different Norval? It just doesn't make any sense. He's a decent character overall. I can't complain about him too much. He has like stoner vibes, and they played into those jokes really well, where he's trying to act like he's not a stoner and he hates drugs, but he plays it way too much to where he's obnoxious about it. Velma is easily the most dislikable character in any show I've ever watched. All she does is insult people, and instead of being smart, she runs around with a subplot where they're selling drugs. She runs around screaming, "Get your drugs here!" Then there's Velma's dad, who tries to defend Fred, and his reasoning is to get him to play a child, and then rain happens, and all of his makeup falls off, and he looks like Hitler. It's just very, very weird. I'm probably going to still watch it and then complain about it by the end of the season, because there's only 6 episodes left, and why not? It's such a weird show. Daphne's trying to get Fred to take his pants off, and he doesn't want to. I don't know. There's just not much to talk about other than how bad it is. The biggest embarrassment, though, is that they have the original Scooby-Doo, Fred, and one other character, voice actor, playing Fred's dad, and Fred's dad is the most unlikable douchebag I've ever encountered in any TV show, other than possibly Velma, because all she does is judge everyone. They have the very first scene of the show, which is fantastic, and I love how they did this. Not because it's like a good idea, but because it's just fucking awful. Is they are talking about how cringe it is in pilot episodes of TV show that everyone is naked while everyone is naked, and I guess that's like irony or whatever, but it's so bad. So anyways, let's move on to the banger, and I just want to talk about this for a little bit because I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm very excited to see where the next episode goes with this, but it's The Last of Us. So if Velma's the worst thing I've ever seen, then I was having the lowest expectations for The Last of Us. I was so excited for the show to come out. I was ready for it. It was going to be either great or horrible. I even asked my coworkers at my job if I should finish off Harry Potter, because I'm rewatching all those movies while on my lunch, or if I should watch The Last of Us show, or at least start it, and they said The Last of Us, so I could be disappointed, and I'm very glad to say I'm not. They did a lot better with this, where they actually follow the story, and because The Last of Us is a video game and not like a movie, they actually dive deeper into the lore behind Sarah and Joel, and I think Pedro Pascal is one of the greatest fits for Joel I've ever seen. It's so good. Sarah, God rest her soul, in the show, she gets fucking trashed. There's a couple new characters who I don't know how they're gonna do yet, but they look like they could be pretty cool. And Ellie's actress is literally Ellie, but just looks different, and I love it. She's such a good actress for being a child. I love the Last of Us show so far, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. That being said, we are only one episode into the show, so they could wipe their ass with it. People have already been complaining about how they aren't using spores anymore. Now it's like a fungal thing, and I don't really care. It doesn't really change the plot of the show at all, at least from what I've seen. It's such a stupid thing to complain about. But yeah, overall, The Last of Us is amazing. They started off this show with a very, very good thing too that showed how like people were dealing with the pandemic through COVID, and then in The Last of Us case, where they were like, "Do you think it's possible this could be a pandemic?" And the doctors were like, "Nah, it's not. That can't be a pandemic. It's not possible. You think that someone's gonna end up making a pandemic out of this? No, there's no way." And then 10 minutes later, the world goes to hell. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so excited about this show. The Fireflies are someone that I actually fucking hate. I already hated them from the game, but I hate them in the show. They're evil people. They have one dude who like stole a battery or something. I'm trying not to give away the whole show, but yeah, it's a really, really good show. And I think if you are a fan of The Last of Us games, 1 and 2, or even just 1, because I know some people for some reason don't like 2. I like 2, but if you're a fan of both, I would definitely recommend that you check out The Last of Us. But yeah, I just wanted to sit down and talk about this stuff for a few minutes because I've been having this on my mind and I finally have a topic to talk about. That's gonna be about all. Take it easy.